Good morning. This is an earlier video because there's no earnings today at 8:30, so we've got nothing till 8:55, nothing major. 9:45 we've got S&P Global PMI final, and we've got more PMI and job openings as well. So 10 o'clock today, keep an eye out for 10 o'clock. And after market we've got crude oil as well. So and what I'm looking for in here is I'm looking for high importance. So 10 o'clock we've got, is it 1st of August? It is, yeah, it's a new month today as well. So ISM, PMI and job openings 10 o'clock, so keep an eye out for 10 o'clock today. And then we've got a few minor things, PMI final at 9:45 and aftermarket, yeah, so 10 o'clock is going to be the main time. So if you're in a trade at 10, either make sure you manage it correctly, put your stops in, or don't make sure you're not trading around 10 o'clock today. It might be worth just putting a reminder on your calendar to pop up a notification at 10 o'clock, because we might see a bit of movement. Right, so looking at the MES today, we've got open the daily chart on the MES, which is also the same as the ES chart, and I'm currently looking at this possible rejection candle, and there's a potential head and shoulders setting up here. So we are quite far away from the 50 moving average, very far away from the 200, and market will want to move back down to those areas soon. The last time we was anywhere near the 50 was going back to the beginning of May, mid-May, and any time it was down at the 200 was back in March this year. So we've got a lot of ground to make up, and if we are looking at a possible rejection area up here, then be wary if you're in any long positions. Despite that, we are in an uptrend, and we will be in an uptrend until we're not, so possibly the break of this area will confirm if we're in a downtrend. So until we're in a downtrend, I've got to bias long positions over short, but the issue with long positions as well is if we're in this chop area as well, so possibly we could just see sideways movement. August, everyone's on holiday, on their summer holidays, and possibly we're going to see a bit of a quieter month, less volume. We'll see that over the next few days, whether volume starts declining. But one thing to note is the volume on this rejection candle on the daily was the first time we were above average volume or way above average volume was for some time, a bit probably beginning of June we had a bit of above average volume, and that happens to be a rejection area as well. We had May, mid-May, this higher than average, and we had another bit of a rejection back down to the 50. So every time we've been over average volume, it seems to be at rejection areas. We had this area here as well, which we just pushed up, and that was, and then decline in volume, that was showing weakness in the sellers, and we pushed down. That's what we've been doing, pushing up. So just something to bear in mind, that the pattern is above average volume and then a possible rejection. We saw it here as well. So above average volume and then rejection afterwards. Above average volume here and rejection. You could argue it went sideways, but we did reject in the end, come back down. But we are quite far away from the 50, so we do need to probably bear that in mind, as we probably do want to get back down to that area at some point. So until we break 45.60, we're going to still be in an uptrend, I think. So that's the daily, and that's probably what the month will bring. So interesting actually that we have got this kind of head and shoulders pattern with this pivot in the middle. Maybe we're setting up a shoulder pattern here, bit of a lopsided one. You could probably draw a trend line on that as well. Excuse me a moment. And then if we do break this area, then we might be looking for a break and retest down, so possibly we might be looking at a swing trade down to the 50, but we'll see. Okay, let's move over to the hourly and look at the levels we've got. So the levels are still in from yesterday. I'm using the same levels. There's nothing really new to add, and you can see these levels have been almost spot on. So let's go over yesterday. We had this double top here at 46 19, 46.20 area, rejected it perfectly, came down, well, came through these, played these levels over the next couple of hours before it rejected this level, and it came down to the next level. So let's just read out levels now. So 46.20 area as a possible rejection. We've rejected it twice already, and maybe we might come back up this area today to reject again. We've got 46.12.50, which has kind of been areas of significance. We've been coming through, we put in this little shoulder, this head, this shoulder here, and it's the bottom of this candle just after FMOC, when we had that sell-off in the Japanese market. So it is an area to keep an eye on, 46.12.50, so possibly look for a rejection at that point. It's coming into the hourly 20 moving average as well, which is going sideways at the moment. And then we've got the 4600 area, this area here, and it's been holding the fort for a few days. So we broke through it on, was that Friday? So we broke through it on Friday. We came back down. We tested it. Could say we broke through it and we hit the next level down, but we instantly rejected that area and bounced back up. And then we came back down. We've been hovering, and we come back down to test it again in the post market on Friday or Monday pre-market. Came back in, came back down yesterday, retested it again, and we came back up to these areas again, and then we came back down and retested it again. And right now, potentially, we're setting up a potential rejection, a potential breakdown through this area. It's looking, if we look at it on the hourly, we're putting in a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, possibly a lower low. So these areas 49, 45.95, 45.91 should be areas to watch out for possible bounces. And we've got this pivot here as well to keep an eye on for, so that's about 45.88, 89 area. So these are areas we're going to be watching still today. If we do break down through this area, then we've got the bottom of this green supply zone, demand zone, and it's an area where there's been lots of activity in the past. As you can see, big area of volume as well if you look at the volume profile tool here on the left here. So we've got this point of control which goes right through this area, which this area's been there for a while. So the fact that the point of control was also acting as natural support as well might be an area to watch out for as we come back down. So if we do get to this area, I'll be looking to layer in, but because this zone is quite a wide zone, where does it go from 45.90 right down to 45.84? That's a $15 zone. So what I'll be looking for is maybe confirmation on volume, looking for a trend in the 30-minute and the hourly, and when we get down here, and look to layer in between a couple of those areas. And you can see we're actually breaking down through 4600 right now, so maybe this is our leg down. So I did take a trade this morning as well. I'll just show you this quickly on the 5-minute, and I'll sum up with the levels then. So the trade this morning was purely based on volume and trend. So we had this is a 5-minute chart. We pulled down, look at that, back up to that level again, 46.12, and I was watching it here and I was thinking about taking a break and retest, but it wasn't really in, although you could argue it is a downtrend, but it broke in this area, but the hourly wasn't quite in a downtrend at this point, and so I waited and I was watching. As soon as I saw this bottom tail come into this level 4600, it got my interest because it's an above average candle as well, more than twice the average candle. And then I did take a scalp. I think I got in about there as I was watching the volume come in, and I was out there, so a little bit of a profit, only 2 contracts, nothing, wasn't a massive amount. And then I did try another long here, and unfortunately I held it too long and I missed my out because I wanted to get out up here, and again that was based on volume. I saw this spike, then I saw this big volume spike, and that looks like ending volume. But just like an oil tanker at sea, when it's coming in, when it wants to do a turn, it doesn't want to turn straight away. It can't just do a quick V-turn. It's not like a helicopter or something. It's got to take its time. So it's slowing down, as you can see here. It's slowing down. And then what I did do then, I was watching this reduced volume as it came into this area. So I got out of break even here because I was expecting it to bounce over this area back up to this level. So it's still up for the day. And then when we got down to this area, I saw again this volume spike and this bottom tail on the 5 minute. And that was my clue. That was my ears really pricked up at that point. And I was waiting for an entry. But there's one thing that really did. I'm going to go to the 2 minute. And on the 2 minute, we had. I've got my pen open. Here we go. So this is where I got really interested on the 2 minute. I saw this bottom candle, but look, it's an anomaly. We had this big sell-off candle here on this volume. Then we had a half the size candle, but on much higher volume. And so I was watching this level. My entry was actually the break of that candle high, and I saw this on volume as well, big follow through, and I thought this was the reversal point, and I took a little bit of profit there, and I was really waiting for it to break up, and I had my eyes on the 50 moving average and the break of this pivot, but as you see it didn't break it. So my last contract I came out of break even down here, and but that was a good trade. But the best trades were yet to come, and so I was waiting. I was watching. I saw all these bottom tails on the 2 minute, and I don't like watching the 2 minute too much. We're back in at the 4600 area as well, and so I bided my time, and I saw that we were putting in a bottom tail there on good volume, but it's neutral volume, so that's why it's a grey. And then I saw we tried to sell off, and it was instantly turned around. So, and then we started to see increase in volume. So this is increase in volume, which is when I got in. So on this bottom tail and the break of that tail over the 4600 mark. So I was in again only 2 contracts, excuse me, and I ran it basically all the way up this, and I got out as we broke down through the 8 on the 5, on the 2 I meant, and it was a good out. In fact, I was out one of my contracts, and the other contract I got out around about here because I thought we were going to break down through the low of the day, so I got out just a bit better than break even. So yeah, another good day trading. So, and it's only small amounts. I was buying 1 or 2 contracts at the time, and I did get stopped out. Well, not stopped out. I did let my winner come back into a losing position or break even position. So I need to work on that side. So, and that's what I'm watching for in the pre-market. So that's why I have my charts open. So let's go back over the levels again. Oh, look at this. This is a break and retest of 66 or 4600. So levels, I'll go back to the hourly because that's what I like to base it on. So we are potentially looking at another sideways day on the hourly. We've got this potential flag setting up as well. So possibly we may have just retested this area. We're going to come back up, but let's assume we're just going to go with levels today and not use pounds. So I'm watching for a rejection at 46.20, this area here. I'll consider it a high risk rejection if we get to 46.12.50, so that'll be with confirmation as well. And the good thing about the 46.19.25, 46.22 area, we've got our actual stop losses there. We can use the tops of these 2 candles as a stop loss area. I'm also watching 46.06, which we came down through today. We came up, we tested it and rejected it back down. So if we come back up, I might look for a potential rejection low or a break and retest long, but I'll be watching for confirmation. And then we've got this 4600 area where we're right at right now. We've just tried to push through, we couldn't quite break the pivot low. So I'm going to look for a break and retest of this area low, and my target will be 45.95 and 45.91 area. And then we've got this area of demand, lots of volume as well, so potentially this will be a bounce area, so between 45.85 to 45.90. But again, like I said, we'll be looking to get in close to the 45.91 because that's where the 200 moving average is. We might see a rejection, a bounce off of that, but I want to be able to layer in. But I'll find a place to layer in during the day when we start seeing some areas setting up. So I'll be watching the 15 or the 20-minute and the 30-minute for that, just to get an idea what could be a potential bounce area. So that's the MES today. I'll just quickly sum up again. 46.22, 75 rejection. 46.19 as a rejection. 46.12, 50 as a higher risk rejection. Again, all these can be break and retest if the market shows strength. 46.06 will be a higher risk bounce and retest, and break and retest, or rejection if we repeat the previous pattern. And on 4600, we're at it right now, and it's going to be higher risk whatever we do. So lower contracts and look for ads. So whether we reject it, come through, break and retest, or if we stay above it and push up, I still want to get in with half my contract sizes. Maybe just start off with one, and if we're in a trend up, I'll just add on every pullback. So every time it breaks through one of these areas could be a potential area to add for possibly coming back up into this area of supply again. And finally, if we do finally break down through the 4600, then we're looking at 45.92, 45.91 area, right down to 45.85. So these are the areas I'm watching today, and probably be the areas I'll be watching over the next few days. Let's have a quick look at SPY. Again, SPY will be exactly the same, but slightly different chart. Look at that for rejection. We've got this rejection area of 458.10, and we've just put in a hourly topping towel there if you want to see a rejection candle. And volume looks a little bit, I won't look at volume because it's pre-market. So 458.10 is a rejection area, and obviously we've got this area up here as well at 459 to 459.50. Then we're going to have either a rejection, high risk rejection at 457.50, or a break and retest. Again, both of these need to be with confirmation. 456.30 area for a break. This is the same as the 4600 area on ES. So the break down or a bounce. Let's get messy. Here we go. For the break and retest low, or we might just want to see it hover and bounce up. And then finally, we've got this area 454.50, area of convergence, and area of high volume on this profile tool as well. And then we've got this demand area down here. So again, as per the previous chart, we want to find an area within here for a potential bounce, and the higher volume area seems to be around about this area here, which would probably coincide with the buying and selling at these points here and these points here. So these are probably 452.40 area, 452.50 round number will be an area to look for a rejection, or a bounce I meant. And I think that's about it. See, I like that topping tail candle there, and maybe we're setting up for a red day today. Let's just one quick look at Qs, and again similar. Look, look, the Qs looks weaker. Look at that. So the Qs have actually broken down through this area. It's broken down, it's pulled back up, and it's back down again. So we're looking like a potential red day for Qs. It's currently below the 50 on the hourly as well, and maybe the next area is going to get close to us. This 200 moving average was at 381, 380, 380.50, but it coincides with, look at that, right on that area. Let's draw a better line. So that's probably what we're looking for it to come back down to 380.50, 380.60. I think that area is. 380.60. Look at that. And we've got this pivot here, and I'm sure if we zoom out, we've got areas of interest. Look, we've got, go back to that control line. So we've got this area here, this area here, this area here, and so we can probably join that line together. It will give us a nice area for us to bounce. So it might be worth just keeping an eye on this area as well. and obviously that would be the same if you're looking at the NASDAQ as well. Let's use hourly, yeah. So the NASDAQ, I've already drawn these lines in, so look at that. So we're coming down to that area at 15,736. 50, so that's our next big area. So if it gets down to 15,539, 15,539, that area here, we might be looking for a nice bounce as well. But we will be in a downtrend then because we're below the 200 on the hourly, or it'd be a higher risk because if we're below the 200, really we'll probably want to see it break down through this area. So that's it for the day. Hopefully you have a good day. Like I said, it's the first day of the month, so hopefully this is the first day of a green month for everyone, and I will speak to some of you in the Discord room later. Okay, have a good day.